No other animated movie really does it like this. Like, I'm sorry, but I'm like actually obsessed with this movie. I'm so obsessed I actually got it tattooed on my chest. You don't believe me? Shout out my tattoo artist, by the way. She finessed it. But if you're looking for an anime movie with like flashy fights and like cool swords and power systems and all that, you're in the wrong spot, because this is the complete opposite of that, and it's a good change for once, if I'm being honest with you. I'll try not to spoil the movie too much, because I mean the whole point of me making this video is to persuade you to watch it, but let's get right into it. I also just want to preface this by saying I know this movie is not for everyone, but if you're looking for like a sad movie, or you just like sad movies like I do, yo, you're gonna love this one, I promise. Also, it does start out slow, but if you could stick around and like actually get through it, I can't express how worth it is if you can get through it. I know it starts off slow, just stay strong. Basically, as a quick backstory though of this movie, it follows the life of Ishida, where basically he bullied a deaf girl in elementary school, and he has to live with that guilt. You know, it got to the point where she had to like leave schools. He was ripping the hearing aid off her. She was like bleeding and all that. Like, yo, he was violating her, I'm not gonna lie. But it got so bad to the point she had to leave the school, and he got to live life with that guilt. And he basically tries to spend the rest of the movie making amends, you know, trying to fix what he did wrong. But yeah, I'm not trying to spoil too much, but that's basically the gist of it. And of course, all his classmates were joining in on the bullying too, but you know, he's the only one that gets blamed. So that's a relatable thing number one about this movie. No, I didn't bully deaf people, but I get blamed for everything. Now that you have a bit of backstory, let me talk about why this movie is actually so amazing. For starters, the artwork and the art style is just like top tier. Go anywhere in the movie you want, just hit that pause button, screenshot it, and you're gonna have a clean new wallpaper, I promise you. Because every scene from this movie is just like, it's just beautifully done, if I'm being honest with you. Next is the fact that it's an anime movie that actually deals with like mental illness and mental health, but they do it in a very unique way. For example, Ishida has anxiety, and they show it by putting X's on people's faces because he can't make eye contact with them or look at them. And they also show it from his point of view. They go into first person where he's like looking down at the ground at his own feet all the time when he's walking through the halls. I don't know what the author of this story went through growing up, but they might need a therapist, because they really like nailed this like spot on how anxiety feels. And especially the one scene where he's just grabbing his stomach, running to the bathroom because he's so nauseous from anxiety. It's not like he needed to poop, but like, yo, that feeling that anxiety gives you, if you know, you know. And another thing, this movie actually deals with like suicide and depression, like from like the first 60 seconds of the movie. Just watch it and you'll see what I mean. Again, I'm trying not to spoil, but they start dealing with suicide early on in the movie, like literally the first 60 seconds. But it's crazy. It's like real stuff that they're dealing with, and they just portray it in such a amazing way. Not to make it sound like suicide's amazing, it's not. Don't kill yourself. But yeah. And that brings me to my next point, which is how the foreshadowing in this movie is actually insane. I'm telling you, the first just 60 seconds is foreshadowing. It's foreshadowing from the start of the movie all the way to the end. That with the symbolism, just it's incredible. Especially the way that they use the koi fish for symbolism in the movie. And on top of that, like I said, the art style, it's amazing. It all comes together and just blows my mind. Just pay close attention to every detail in the movie if you do choose to watch it. I've watched it probably like 90,000 times already, and I feel like I pick up a new detail every time that I do watch it. Especially when you go back, you think, oh, yo, that's like, you're not gonna obviously know that foreshadowing is occurring until later on, but when you rewatch it, you're like, damn, that's crazy. But overall, what can I really say about the movie? I mean, the characters are extremely well written, relatable, realistic. Their interactions just feel real, like this is an actual group that, like, just it feels like a true story. And again, the artwork, amazing. It's my wallpaper right now on my iPad, believe it or not. And don't even get me started on the soundtrack, yo. I be playing that soundtrack just on my back in my bed, staring at my ceiling, just wondering, just thinking. Just me and my thoughts and that soundtrack. And me fighting back tears. The only complaint I really have about the movie, other than it starting out kind of slow, is the fact that it leaves out a lot of content that was in the manga. I actually did read that. I normally don't read because I don't know how to read, but it does leave out a lot of content that I feel like if they actually included, it gives more context and a better understanding, because there were some scenes in the movie that is confusing, and I didn't understand it until I actually read the manga. So I would recommend doing that as well. Again, I can't force you to, but highly recommend. 10 out of 10. With that being said, if you want a nice change, you know, a nice slice of life, you want to cry, you don't want to see people fight for 6 episodes straight just to win from the power of friendship, not throwing any shots at anything, but I would check this movie out. You know, I'm at a loss of words. It's amazing. That's all I can say. It ranks number 17 on my anime list, or 16, something like that, of all time, for a reason. It's so high ranked, and yet I feel like it's not spoken about enough, but that's just my opinion. You can respect it or not, I really don't care. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, check out the movie, try not to cry, let me know what you think about it if you do watch it, and take care.